finally caught up to the Boston Celtics, a young team, a team that was going up against arguably one of the greatest players in the history of the sport in a Game 7 with everybody watching. What do you think went wrong for the Celtics last night, CC?
Their inability to be able to shoot the ball. And it's the thing when they struggled, especially when Kyrie was out. Because they played a lot of games where they were close, the first 60 games of the season, and Kyrie would bail them out at the end with his offensive burst. They don't have that. When they had problems during the regular season, it was on the offensive end, and especially shooting it from deep. And that's what we saw with Rozier and a couple of the other starters. They played awful. And that had a lot to do with shooting the basketball. It's something that hurt them during the regular season. They won't have that problem. When you have Gordon Hayward, you have Kyrie Irving, you won't have that problem with this collection of players. But in last night's game, that's what it boiled down to, the inability to be able to hit open shots, because they had open looks and were not able to take advantage of them.
Man, to your point on that, Rozier, Brown, and Marcus Smart combined to go 8 of 42. 8 of 42. That's about 18%. They went 3 of 26 from 3, including an 0 for 10 from Terry Rozier and a 3 for 12 from Jaylen Brown. Listen, this was an amazing season for Boston. Once they lost Kyrie, they lost Gordon Hayward, obviously, 5 minutes in. They lose Kyrie with 20 games left. They think maybe he can come back for the playoffs. He's announced they can't come back from the playoffs. They're a pick-em in the series against Milwaukee. I picked them to lose Milwaukee in 7. They win that series. They're a heavy underdog in the series against Philadelphia. They beat them in 5. They beat them in 5. And against Cleveland, they're up 2-0. They're up 3-2. And so it's an amazing season. With that said, they're going to look back to the moment that Brad Stevens talked about, that Ty Lue talked about, that LeBron talked about. Up 12 with 6 minutes left in the second quarter, Cleveland was reeling. No one other than LeBron had hit shots. LeBron was turning the ball over. They go up 12. On the Cavs' next 5 possessions, they get nothing. 2 LeBron misses, 2 more LeBron turnovers, a Jeff Green miss. The Celtics can't extend the lead. They make 1 basket from the 6-minute mark, the second quarter, to the 2.5-minute mark. It allowed the Cavs to feel some life going into halftime. I feel like the Cavs were like only down 4. The way we've played,
and with that crowd,
they removed the crowd from it. So, while it's an amazing season, Jenna, for your Celtics, it was a missed opportunity midway through the second quarter. Because I think if they had gone up 17, the Cavs had laid down. There wasn't going to be a comeback.
Yeah, I don't believe that, because I know LeBron, and LeBron, if they would have gotten down, LeBron would have had to exert more energy. Now, would he have been able to have the energy to close it off?
Sure.
I don't think they would have quit. All right, I don't think LeBron would even let them get that far down with taking it upon himself. But that energy that he would have exerted to use, that wouldn't have been there at the end of the game, which would have made a difference potentially there in Boston Garden to finish it out. But amazing opportunity lost, because if they're able to win this game, there's a couple things that are going to occur. They're the team that can say in the history books, when LeBron talks about, Papa, and going to 8 straight finals, Brad would have been able to say, no, I was the guy who stopped it. And I stopped it without a superstar, without a #1 option. And then they go on to the NBA Finals, and I believe they win 2 games in the NBA Finals that they're able to put in their memory bank next year when they do get their superstars back. So if they were to make it to the Finals next year, they still would have that 2-week experience of the 2018 season.
I want to put out one note that I think is going to be forgotten, because you were harping on this early in the series, You said the Celtics are playing the illegal defense every possession. It's not being called. Early in this game, for the first time all series, they got called for one of those illegal defenses. LeBron ended up missing the technical free throw. That's not why it matters. It matters because the Celtics stopped playing it every possession. I think that's one of the reasons LeBron was able to get off the way he was despite really good defense. So that they hadn't called that illegal defense all series.
Right.
They wait until early Game 7, they call it, and the Celtics had to adjust because of it.
And Ty Lue was smart to go to the high pick and roll, because you go to the high pick and roll, you can't play illegal.
Yeah.
Because you can put 2 shooters in the opposite corners, put 1 on the diagonal, and that guy who's guarding the diagonal, he can't be in the lane. So great by Ty Lue.
All right, Cavs advance. They are headed to the NBA Finals. They will face the winner of the Rockets and the Warriors, the Western Conference Finals. Game 7 tonight. Warriors looking to get back to the finals as they take on a Houston team who may or may not have their star Chris Paul in the lineup. He will be a game-time decision with a sore hamstring. Warriors have their work cut out for him, though. There have been 112 Game 7 playoff games. The road team has only won 25 times Here's head coach Steve Kerr on the team's mindset.
This is it. This is the culmination of everything that's happened the last couple of weeks. So more nerve-wracking, but a lot of fun too. I think I played in 3 of them, if my memory serves me, and it's they're games that you remember, and they're fun to be part of. It's exciting. If someone told us we got the 7th game on our home court against Golden State, would you sign up for it? Yeah, we'd sign up right there. So we got what we want. Now it's up to us to go get it, and it'll be rocking, and H-Town will be fired up, and now it's up to us to knock them out.
Although things are true, I'm sure he'd like to have Chris Paul.
Yeah,
100%. But other than that, the
they
stage for the most
Correct.
part is set. What do the Rockets need to do tonight in Game 7 against the Warriors, Nick?
All right, so there's a few things that I think are critical. One is you can beat the Warriors with Kevin Durant scoring 30-plus points. We've seen the Rockets do it. You can't beat the Warriors with the Splash Brothers going off. You just can't. Like that, their offense is infectious. It becomes somewhat unguardable. It gets everyone involved. Draymond plays better. The role players play better when those guys go off. So, listen, if KD is going to go into the isolation on the high post or on the low block and just torture people, you got to deal with that. You have to stay attached to Steph. You have to stay attached to Clay. So that's the first thing. Second thing is the Rockets have to do what they were doing in the first quarter of Game 6. Which is hit an absurd amount of three-pointers. They're yet to have the three-pointer game in this series that I thought they would, the game where they hit 18, 19, 23s. I think for the Rockets to have a chance at winning, they have to hit more than 16 three-pointers. That's a big number, but this team is built to do it. And to be totally candid, they got to get a little fortunate. You're going to give up some open shots. You're going to have some defensive breakdowns. And you have to hope the Warriors aren't going to look anything like Boston last night, but you have to hope they don't look like the Warriors in the second half last night. Like, those are the things that I say are the keys for it.
3 keys, I would think. Offensively, the Rockets, they have to be able to score in transition. And I'm not talking about fast break points. I'm talking about the secondary fast break, where you could push it down, push it into the paint, and try to get a shot before we get 10 seconds into the 24-shot clock. Number 2, they have to have their role players. And Luc Richard, Bahamute, he's got to build either him, Joe Johnson, or Ryan Anderson. Of those 3, 2 of those players are going to have to play more minutes. I'm thinking Chris Paul is not going to be involved. So 2 of those 3 players have to play some minutes, and they have to play well. Number 3, and I believe it's just as important as the other 2, James Harden's got to be special. He's got to be the MVP of the NBA tonight. Tonight you got to leave the game and say, is James Harden, is he the second best player in the world?
Bingo.
Because if you do, then he's done his job. But those are the 3 things. Offense in the transition, they got to be able to get that. Role players, number 2, they got to be able to get significant contributions from them. And that's not only offensively. And then number 3, their MVP, who will be crowned next week, he's got to be special.
That last point is key. We've talked, Harden's going to win the MVP this year. We've talked that maybe he should have won it last year. Maybe he should have won it 3 years ago. That he's going to have 1, maybe he should have 2 or 3. But no one discusses him as the second best player in the world. Just throw best player in the world out, right? That's LeBron. People say, is KD the second best? Is it Steph? Last year, people asked, was it Russ? At the end of this regular season, people asked, was it Anthony Davis? Harden gets forgotten in that because why? He doesn't have these transcendent playoff series. He's had transcendent playoff games. Game 1 of each series of this postseason. Quarters.
Yeah.
Halves. The first half of Game 6. He was remarkable. This would be his moment. If he can carry this team to beating the most talented team we've ever seen, to put them in the NBA Finals.
Then this puts to bed all that talk about the Rockets in the postseason and James Harden in the postseason, Mike D'Antoni in the postseason.
Yeah.
They
Do
need
what
to win
LeBron
tonight.
did. Yeah. With better personnel. Do what LeBron did at home. LeBron did it on the road. Do it tonight, James Harden.
And this is basically Game 7 of the NBA Finals.
Right.
Right? Like, everyone's going to say the winner of this thing's winning the whole thing. So, like, if there's even more pressure, it's about as big of a game as you can possibly play in. I hope James Harden can go do it.
All right. One more segment on the other side. Coming up, was getting the Cavs to the finals LeBron's greatest career.